Hey homegirl, I'm Neimoya Basden, and welcome to the Girl Just Heal podcast, where we talk about all things healing, personal growth, and building a healthy relationship with ourselves. In this space, we have realistic conversations, and by the end of this episode, you will be more encouraged to heal, grow, and evolve. Hey homegirl, welcome to the Girl Just Heal podcast. I am Neimoya Basden, and child, listen. So today's episode is I feel it's a very good episode. I actually was scrolling on Facebook. Like, I'm always scrolling on social media finding something, but I was actually scrolling on Facebook and I saw a post from an associate, and she was speaking. First of all, before we get into it, okay, because I'm getting a little ahead of myself, and I feel like I always come here and I just jump right into it, which that's not a bad thing. But before we get into it, I want to give this trigger warning, because some of the stuff that I talk about in this episode is going to, maybe not just ruffle some feathers, but it may bring some things up for you that you may have dealt with before, or somebody close to you may have dealt with it. So I do want to give this trigger warning, and just let you know that some things discussed in this episode may bring back some memories. If at any point you feel uncomfortable, then feel free to just cut this episode off, look at previous episodes, or join us for the next episode. But I want to make sure that you are comfortable whenever you are listening to an episode of the podcast. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I saw an associate post something, and it was very disturbing, to say the least. But she posted a video speaking out about how her father had sexually abused her when she was a child. And she finally got the courage to speak out openly about this. But the moment she spoke out, she started receiving backlash. And it wasn't just from like strangers or people that she didn't know. It was mainly from her family and her close friends who was giving her this backlash. And to me, that was very disturbing, and I found it funny. And when I say funny, I'm not talking about like ha ha funny. I'm talking about like it's really a sad case funny. I found it funny how all of our lives we have been told to live in our truths. Be bold in your truth. Speak out about your truth. Let those things out. Don't bottle things up inside, because bottling things up inside can hurt you even more than you are already hurting. So you need to let these things out. We've always been taught that. We've always been taught to get those things out. Don't hold those things in. But I found it funny that the moment she got her story out, the moment she started talking about these things that happened to her, which is her truth, she's being bold in her truth, she's living in her truth, and she's confronting her truths. And the moment she started confronting her truths and saying, you know what, I'm going to speak out about this because I know that this is going to help me heal, then she received all this backlash, all this judgment, all this criticism, all because she spoke out about her truth. And for me, like, I don't know what it was, but that just did something to me, because me being a person who was sexually assaulted before, I feel like the worst thing that you can do is kick somebody when they're down, and not even just if you've been sexually assaulted before, like in anything in life. Don't kick nobody when they are down. But I feel like with her speaking out, finally getting that courage to speak out about what she went through, and then all of a sudden she's receiving all this backlash, and it was to the point to where she was so emotional. I mean, she was crying. She just was, man, it was so sad to see. Let me just say that it was very, very sad to see. And I am just so disturbed by that, because people always tell you to be bold. That's how you heal, when you be bold and you talk about the things. You don't bottle things up. But then the moment you talk about it, they want to condemn you. They want to judge you. They want to criticize you. They want to talk about you and tell you that you shouldn't have spoke out about that, because people want you to be honest, but they want you to be honest to a certain extent. I want you to live in your truth. I want you to tell your truth, but I don't want you to tell that truth. And it's like people try to pick and choose what truth that we need to tell. People try to pick and choose what we need to say. And it's like, during my healing journey, I am going to say things and speak out about things that I see fit to speak out about because that's how I experience my healing. And the sad thing about it is that most of the people who was criticizing her and judging her, they probably have been in the same space that she is currently in right now. They probably have dealt with those things. But because they don't have enough courage to speak up about it, now they're coming against her and attacking her and making her feel like, well, maybe you should have just kept your mouth closed. Baby, let me tell you something. If you keep your mouth closed and don't speak out about things in your own way, in your own time, and of course, if you keep your mouth closed and don't speak out, you going to bottle those things up inside. And before you know it, you are going to explode and you going to explode on everybody around you. It is so unhealthy for us to hold things inside because we scared that if we speak out, somebody gonna say that, well, maybe you shouldn't have said that. You can't please everybody. And that's just in life. You will never be able to please everybody. Whether you're doing good or bad, people gonna talk about you. That's one of my favorite quotes. Like whether you're doing good or bad, people gonna talk about you. People gonna have something to say about you. So you may as well do those things that brings you the most peace. For her, I could tell the relief on her face when she was releasing her story. She felt so free. But then, after she experienced this freedom, here come these same people coming right back to send her right back into that place that she worked so hard to get out of. And some of us have been in that place. We have been in that dark place that we have tried so hard to crawl our way out of, but we are letting the judgments and the opinions of others send us right back in there. That's why I always say the healing is not for the faint of heart. Like, let me tell you something. You got to have some thick skin to heal. And people think that healing is just this easy process that's going to come naturally. No, you have to deal with a lot when you healing. Sometimes you gonna speak out about things and people not gonna believe you. They gonna say you lying. They gonna say that ain't how the story went because you know that some people feel they know our lives better than we know it, right? So you are gonna deal with a lot of backlash when it comes to healing. And healing shouldn't be a process where you have to worry about being taken right back into the place that you've worked so hard to get out of. And so when I saw that post, I really felt for her. My heart ached for her because I know all too well how that feels when you work so long to crawl your way up out of that dark hole and then you got somebody right there that's pushing you right back down in there. They pushing you right back in the hole and now you have to do more work to get out of there again. But this time, you ain't gonna be so quick to try to get out that hole because you gonna be thinking about, now if I come out this hole this time, who gonna be sitting waiting to criticize me? Who gonna be sitting waiting to judge me? Who gonna be sitting waiting to say something about me or to say that my story is not real, to say that my story is not true? And all of that can affect us. So I just want to encourage you that if you are dealing with something like that where you are speaking out about something or you get the courage to speak out about something you've been through, hear me and hear me well. Do not let the opinions and the judgment and the criticism of others make you go right back into a place that you've tried so hard to come out of. Because everybody's not going to understand why you heal the way you do. And guess what? It's not for them to understand it. Everybody ain't going to understand why you move in the way you move. I remember when I first spoke out about the things that I went through, it was back in 2015 was the first time I ever publicly spoke out about a lot of the stuff that I went through. And when I tell you, I just got a slew of people that was like, they knew my life better than me. Oh, it didn't go like that. Oh, that didn't happen to her. And it's like, though all of those thoughts and all of that chatter, if you are not strong enough, it'll send you right back into that cocoon and you'll want to go and you'll want to hide again. And for me, to be honest, I did that several times. First time speaking out was in 2015 and I can remember just going back and hiding because I didn't want to deal with the voices, the outside voices. I didn't want to deal with that. And so I would go back and I say, you know what, maybe I'm not cut up for this. Maybe I can't talk about this. Maybe I shouldn't have spoke about this. Maybe I should have just kept my mouth closed and did something else. But it was something tugging at me that's like, no, you got to get this out. You got to tell your story. And now, 2023, Neimoya, I'm going to tell my story. And you going to either take it or you going to leave it. You going to just walk away. Because I'm going to tell my truth. I'm going to live in my truth. I'm going to be honest with myself, and I'm going to be honest with people around me. Because when we keep it real, that's when people heal the most. People don't heal when you sugarcoating stuff. People don't heal when you trying to beat around the bush. People don't heal when you doing that. You have to keep it real, raw, and regular for people to heal. If you are telling your story, don't just tell your story. And let me just say this, because I'm not telling you that you gotta speak out and tell your story. Some people they don't do that. Some people feel like that's not my lane. That's not my ministry. I don't want to talk publicly about things I've been through. I don't want to speak out about things I've been through. And that is totally fine. As long as you are doing something to overcome what you have been through, then you do it in your own way, at your own time, on your own pace. I do want to say that. I want to let you know that. But for me, I'm going to speak out about my story. I don't care about the criticism. I don't care about the judgment. And it took me a minute to get here. And so I want to encourage you that if you are speaking out about your story, listen, you can't control what people say. You can't control what people do. But what you can control is your actions. All right, homegirls. So that is it for this episode. And we are going to close this episode out with the Girl Just Heal mantra. And that mantra is, I accept myself for who I am. I free myself from all fear. And today, I choose to heal. So thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. I am Neimoya Basden, and until we speak again, girl, just heal. All right, homegirl, thank you for tuning in to the Girl Just Heal podcast. We want to make sure that we continue supporting you during your healing journey. So be sure to use our hashtag Girl Just Heal on all social media platforms. Connect with us on Instagram and TikTok at Girl Just Heal, and join our private Girl Just Heal Facebook community so that you can continue to heal, grow, and evolve.